Tokyo Lovehotels podcast.
Hello and welcome back to Tokyo Lovehotels podcast. 2021.
New pod station.
New pod station, new place. Recording from a different. Would I say studio? Would I say just station? Yeah. This is episode number 15. And we are back, and we are Tokyo Lovehotels, which is an organization that focuses on promoting artistry and providing artists with free space to sell, work, promote, do a little bit of this and that, and kind of just broaden the perspective for artists in Tokyo. And my name is Rastenberger, aka Mr. Loveho, and you are?
Kalinlaw, aka Mrs. Loveho.
Fantastic. So this is the first time we're sitting next to each other. So it's a bit weird, kind of.
Intimate, neck to neck,
It's a
hand to hand
situation. Yeah. Limbs to limbs situation. So today we have a very special guest. Do you want to give her a little introduction?
Don't put me on the spot.
When? Okay, so today we have a very special guest, a very dear friend of ours, also an extremely talented painter and artist that's exhibited us with us before.
Yeah.
Shall we just call her in? No.
Riko
Monma!
Hey!
Alright.
Welcome.
Thank you. Hi guys.
Hi, Reeks.
Moms.
Moms?
Reek
Oh, I
moms.
used to
Reek
be
moms.
called Mom a lot.
Really?
Yeah, because it's like Mama.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Cute. I'm with that.
Do you want some beverages?
Yes, thirsty.
Please feed me, drink.
We got a Shiraz Cabernet
Oh,
or a Bordeaux.
Jacob.
I can't say that. A Bordeaux, please.
The creeps.
Bordeaux. Okay.
Arigato.
Let's go with the
Wait,
legalese.
mine's still got water in it, eh?
Chug
Do
it.
you want to chug it up?
Shkomo, this time we got a cork thing. It's not a tap.
Yeah.
Upgrades.
Yeah. Which also makes it a
You
lengthier.
can even hear me drink.
situation.
It's like that.
I heard it.
It's got that ASMR vibe.
So net.
Yeah. So, how's it going?
Should I do
It's
it?
good.
That's
It's good. I spent all day like sleeping, and that's why I was like, guys, I'm so sorry.
Really? You always wake up like random work.
No, I wake up pretty early and then I go back to bed and then my day starts.
I go back to bed. I love that accent.
Yeah.
Oh, so charming.
Okay.
Oh,
Let's hit it. This is from the Loho Vineyard. Are you ready?
Arigato. It's really like, what did she say? ASMR? It's really
Yeah.
like that.
Yeah.
Here, the liquid.
Sabrina.
There's people on IG too.
Yeah, so we're currently testing out this new thing, going on IG Live while recording,
Yeah.
which means that if we fuck up, they'll hear it,
Oh,
Yeah.
but we'll be able to edit it out of this one
Okay.
for the upcoming one. Yeah, so
I'm gonna pretend that it doesn't exist.
Exactly.
yeah.
Makes us nervous.
Yet answer their questions.
Okay. Let's do this. Oh, you're drinking
Awesome.
wine today, Robs?
Yeah.
What happened?
Cheers.
Cheers.
Welcome.
Welcome.
you.
Happy New Year. Happy Year of the Ox.
Yeah.
Chinese New
Or
Year.
the yak.
The yak. Year of the yak.
Oishii. Good.
Mm.
No?
Are you used to drinking out of mug cups? Wine out of mug cups?
Oh.
Is it a new thing?
Yeah, it's a
It's a
new
new
thing. It's
Yeah.
a very new thing. It's very. No, I like it. I dig it. Yeah.
It's a vibe. So, hi Reeks.
Hi, Robs.
Thank you very much for joining us today.
Thank you. Thank you.
We know that you're currently exhibiting,
I am.
having a fantastic exhibit that we visited.
Yes,
Was it
thank you so
yesterday?
much
2 days
for
ago.
coming.
2 days ago,
2 days ago, yeah.
which was totally amazing.
Thank you.
Where are you from? Why are you here? What's going on?
I'm from New Zealand, but I'm Japanese. I'm like mixed, but I'm Japanese. And I'm here, I've been here for 5 years now, like in Tokyo. Wait, hold on. In
She makes me nervous.
so yeah, no, 'cause- okay.
Yes.
No, I've been here for 5 years. I'm a painter here. I paint stuff. Yeah.
5 years.
Yeah, 5 years in
Okay.
Tokyo. Hold up. I think so. 7 years in Japan, 5 years in Tokyo, I think. Yeah.
Why did you decide to come to Japan?
I did graduate school here. I've never been in Japan, so...
Like art school?
No, in science.
Yeah.
In science.
She's so many
So-
plot twists with
so
her.
I've-
Kagakusha?
It was in chemical engineering.
Vials?
Yeah.
Really?
Experiments, vials,
Yeah.
whatnot. Yeah.
Wait, so rewind. You born in New Zealand,
Yeah. born in
chilling
New
around there for a
Zealand.
bit,
Yeah.
coming to Japan
Yeah.
to study science, get your
Yeah.
graduates
Yeah.
in science.
Yeah.
What was the original goal there? Was that to create some kind of experimental art with explosions, or?
Well, I was originally like wanting to go down research. I wanted to do a PhD in science, and then I was like, maybe research isn't really the route for me. So I entered a cosmetics company, and I did some work there as in formulation, so like making makeup and like making skincare products, and then I said I do still want to do something more creative, so I moved on to do product development in the same company, and that's sort of like the division that covers like everything from conception to overseeing how the process goes, and yeah, so I did like, I thought that was a wee bit more creative, but it kind of more or less taught me how to run my own business in a way, because you're overseeing all these processes, like different divisions inside a company that make like, they really taught me how to do the full thing, although in like much smaller scale, especially if you start out solo. But yeah,
Within skincare?
I did skincare, and skincare mostly. Skincare.
Okay, because I know for a fact that you're a little bit obsessed with SPFs and
I'm not
skincare
obsessed.
in general. I know that it's a big thing of yours. Yeah.
Really? It is?
Yeah, we briefly discussed it 2 days ago.
Yeah. Well, I'm not sure how much I should be disclosing.
Disclose all. Disclose away.
No, but yes. I used to make skincare, so I do know
You
what goes
make?
in. Yeah, in the lab. That was what I did.
Like your own?
Yeah, well, not my own, but for a brand or like.
Oh, right. Okay.
Yeah.
Like gene modified. Have you seen them? Have you seen the movie Dumpling? Or Dumplings? Is it?
No, what is it?
About this Chinese woman that goes to the hospital in the after hours and pays a little fee to get aborted babies and fetuses, brings them home, like they've already passed, chops them up, turns them into shorompo, like dumplings, and serves it in her house.
I don't watch horror.
For it's a thriller, and serves it to these like madams that come and pay a huge amount to have this, and makes them really young. Like it's basically next level placenta treatment.
True story.
No, I don't think so.
My God.
I don't know, but
I don't know about that. It might be
it's,
true somewhere in the world.
because it's such a huge thing with using like human
placentas
cells
are
and
huge
placentas,
thing,
and
right?
and I heard something about the mid part between the placenta and the navel, like the connecting.
I never really did any
cord.
research into it, eh?
Yeah. Well, that's that.
I'm kind of glad I didn't go do any research on that.
Didn't go down that route.
No, I didn't.
Yeah.
No, I'm so glad.
Wait, so you did this, and then you've been painting.
Yes.
While is this a thing that you've been doing since you were young?
Yeah, so I've painted basically all my life. And I've kind of wanted to study art as well, but I went to uni quite early, so it was and we knew that art is definitely not a easy road by any means. So I said, let's get the science down first. And yeah, so art came next.
How did you go from being a scientist to an artist full time?
Well, I think it was more like an internal shift. I said, well, there was a family emergency that kind of started it, and I was working really busy corporate Tokyo, so I needed some time to spend with my family, and that was like a good switch in a way, because I was like, oh, I can't be spending too many hours in the office and sort of not aware of what is going around, and I want to spend more time with my family and connect with them better. So that was sort of like the original spark that started it. But when I made the shift, it was like a willing one on my part as well. I said, I've always wanted to do this, and now might be the time. And yeah, it was just like a mental shift, because I'd done it as a hobby like my entire life, quite consistently.
Painting.
Yeah.
And so this is a recent development then, the choice
2 years
to
ago,
go.
yeah.
Okay. To become like, I am the artist. Like, transcend into purely working with artistry, or having that as your goal.
Yeah, I guess so. I've always been told that I have an odd personality for a scientist.
For a scientist.
I feel like she has an odd personality of everything,
general,
regardless where
yeah.
she goes, because
Thanks,
you
guys.
connect so well with everything and everyone.
Yeah.
Like, really, she always keeps amazing us with information of,
Surprising us.
like, anything, like, looking at you.
So
I mean, like Yoko Ono, 55 years ago, gorgeous artist, a little bit, funky, looking fantastic, a little cuckoo, could live in Paris with your cigarette and your wine, looking fantastic. But there's also this other, like, super ghetto down twerking on the ground side.
gangster.
Yeah.
She's so gangster.
Like, true gangster. And then there's this other side where you and me can end up in, like, an hour conversation about gaming or
Yeah,
gaming
oh my god,
nightly.
yes.
And then
On the
just
regular.
now I was playing a song from Eurovision Song Contest from like 2 years ago. Ukraine that like no one would know. She's like, oh, that's 1944, blah, 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 blah. And you're like, what? Where do you come from? And why do you know all of this?
Yeah.
It's quite funny.
I don't know. I
You
think
have that
I'm genuinely
talent.
a very curious person. So when I'm curious about something, I tend to follow up on it. And yeah, it's when that intensity comes in handy, I just gotta dig into it.
So you just genuinely have a lot of interests. You're just keeping curious.
I think so. I love when I see like something that someone's passionate about, and I think that's what makes them sort of like glowing or like beautiful.
Yeah.
So when I see that in another person and their own subculture, like I go like, let me in, I want to know.
So cute.
And then you actually sap it up, like you actually remember all the information that goes around
Well,
you.
yeah, well, I don't really have a good memory. I think my close friends can definitely attest to that. so, like, anything that I feel, I guess, and is, like, I find super interesting, I tend to remember. Okay, that came out wrong, because that means if I don't remember, I'm not interested. That's not true. But I tend to remember things that I am most
Ma, that's normal, no?
intrigued by.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm so curious for her, like, her one day, like, waking up till going back to sleep.
Oh my god, sometimes it's so like, eventful. It'll just be like me lying in bed. Literally, like,
Oh my god.
flipping through my phone, playing a game.
Yeah. Like,
Love it. And then the other day you're at like a museum painting this whole like wall of something.
It depends. I think I operate on a whim now. More so than ever. So I've got that time.
To get to your art, you've had an exhibit with us at
Yes,
Lovehotels,
yes, thank you.
which
It
was
was nice.
amazing.
Yeah, thank you.
And what is it that you do for people that don't know?
I practice what we call slow art, and it's like a type of painting that takes a little time to know, or see or fully understand the concept or the feeling. It's not designed. I'm not sure if it's on purpose, but it's art created with the intention of allowing people to really take that time to take it in, as opposed to something that is like instantaneously, like bam, wow, so it's more like slow, like jiwa.
Like for people that aren't really into art or know all these terms and what goes on and what not, like me, for example, would slow art being something that's not as obvious? Like,
Yeah, it could be.
could
yeah.
slow art be a portrait of a person, or does it have to be something that's abstract that you actually have to put time to kind of? Is that what the difference is? Like looking at a picture where you already know, you see the scene, you know what's going on. Someone's eating fruit at a table, like, versus just colors.
It could be both ways. Slow art is just sort of like more about the practice and how you approach it, as opposed to the subject or how it's portrayed.
Oh, okay.
In my case, I do abstract art, so you might not quite get it, but what I do aspire is I paint my emotions or my experiences using abstract forms. So, and hopefully that can induce some kind of feeling that I want to get out of people, but it doesn't. They don't necessarily have to. But that's like the abstract part of it, I think. Yeah.
Okay, so it's more about the perspective from the artist's perspective, creating the art that takes time, rather
Well, it
than
takes
focusing
time.
on the actual final product.
Well, with the intention of having your audience spend more time on it.
Okay. Wow,
I really like it.
it's gorgeous.
There's so many like contemporary art, so much like trying to be different or attention grabbing just cause. Or what's the word?
Con artists.
Yes! Love that word. But this is like really slow art.
Yeah, well, I think
Like-
generally, because I'm a slow person, I'm not particularly fast. I'm only fast when when there's food in front of me.
Yes.
I'm not typically like very fast moving. So I think, yeah, when I heard about it, I was like, sounds like me.
Right.
I took it on.
So, I mean, we first saw your art at the exhibit at Lovehotels, but I
Yes.
think it wasn't really until, at least for me, visiting you at the exhibit you're doing now called Slowscapes
It's
at
called
Hotel The Knot, Shinjuku.
Shinjuku.
Check it out if you can. It's there for
Yes.
another, what, 2 months?
Till May, yeah.
Yeah,
till
till May. Yeah, it's very long because I'm
It's
not
fantastic.
having a reception. They've allowed
Right.
me to extend the time.
Due to COVID.
Mm-hmm.
Right. So going there and actually like having you explain what kind of materials you use to create the art, why it's there, what it's for, it really kind of gave, I think, us a chance to also dig deeper into it, because during the events it's bustling, like, you know, there's always things happening, and you're so busy making sure everything is working and stuff like that, you don't really have enough time to sit down and just be like, oh, you know. And just seeing it 2 days ago with how you had, what was it called? The Japanese scrolls?
The kakejiku.
Kakejiku. Like, so the Japanese, like, rolling scrolls, the fabric scrolls that you've attached your art to, onto these antique scrolls, right? And you explained how you've been using materials, like, not only paint, but also, like, natural...
Yes.
What did you say? Ground up leaves?
Yeah, I like grind up leaves and rocks and whatever I can really get my hands on. No, because I think it's sort of the part of me that doesn't entirely want to waste science as well. So I use those sort of like knowledge that I've acquired over time to just go back and make my own pigments.
Where do you go to pick these
Anywhere,
ingredients up?
anywhere.
So too, like,
Do you take a excursion out to somewhere meaningful, or do you just go around your house, like, station and pick up leaves?
Well,
and
yeah.
Yeah.
It can
Picking
be
up rocks and
anywhere,
just smashing in on the
stations,
ground.
or like travels, or like shells. Yeah, like anything I find interesting. It doesn't need to be special. Anywhere and everything and anything. Yeah.
So just things you find.
Yeah, things I find.
You create into pigments.
Things that I find that I think is beautiful, and also like scientifically has a potential of being a dye that retains its color over time. Yeah.
So like later today, if we find out that these flowers are gone, we'd know.
This definitely has a lot of
Net
pigmentation
potential.
in it. I see potential.
We know where it might have gone. Right?
Yeah.
Okay, that's so cool though. It's so cool that you're mixing these different types of materials into, because I think that really it also it reflects a lot in the art that you do, in the art that we see as unconnected people. It creates a whole different vibe.
Oh, that's nice. Thank you. That's nice. Yeah, I do really like making my own pigments because well, technically speaking, like pre-made pigments, I think you might know, they have fine particles, but when you grind it up yourself, like, you don't really get to that stage. So when you use the paint, it disperses and you can really see the little particles as well, so it adds like texture to your paint.
Yes.
Right.
Yeah, and I really like that sort of like rough texture, I think.
Could we have a little sample of what you do?
Yes.
So that people could...
Actually,
Still trying to think of that word.
What word?
It's okay, get ready.
Con artist.
No, yes, that's what I see.
oh my wasabi, please. I want to eat that. I actually bought the art that some of the art that I displayed at Lovehotels.
Brain.
Brain?
Yeah.
You thought it was a brain? Could be. Right, so how do I...
Let's see. Let's get that out of the way, and then we can...
これ一緒。
ついてるのね。
そう、ついてる。見えるかな？
見える。すごい綺麗に見え
Further,
る。
further.
Ta-da! Riko Monma.
Moms.
So what's this art piece about?
So actually, this was a piece. They're actually a series of pieces that I did with the concept in minerals. I love minerals. It was like peak Corona season, and I always just, you know, I was in my bedroom wasting away looking at minerals because they were quite healing, and I was like, oh, this is so nice. And yeah, so I decided if these natural abstract patterns that are literally made from nature has the ability to make me feel so much at ease, why couldn't I take those forms and get inspired from them and create paintings out of these forms? And so that's exactly what I did. I sort of borrowed those natural forms into making my own paintings reminiscent of that, but in each I put in specific kinds of emotion, or like I would put on the music, and then I just painted them. So I think I failed to mention that every single one of my works I sort of paint with the same purpose, and it's honestly just to because I paint sort of as part of my own, I don't meditate, but sort of like a meditating practice. It's always to induce a sense of relief or calm or healing of some sort. It can be like an exciting sense of peace, but still it's pertaining to peace. And so yeah, all of the pieces in this collection also did the same thing, which is just to put down on paper the forms that make me feel relaxed or
The forms that make you feel relaxed.
Yeah.
That's interesting though, because there's a lot of different, especially when it comes to art and with music. You talk about how it's a de-stressifying factor, just the fact that you can sit down and like play the piano or paint, and it tends to be a way. We can put this down. It tends to be a way for people to relax, to kind of put their emotions down onto paper or into the music that they make, which usually also projects that feeling of anxiousness or worry, or whereas this is kind of the opposite. Like, you already acknowledge the fact that this is a therapy method, but you put down the 最終的な feeling. Do you know what I mean? Like the goal of the therapy is for you to feel better, to feel calm, and you're putting that down on paper rather than the anxious feeling or the anger or the stress or the...
Yeah, that's so true.
Is that what you mean?
It's probably a personality thing. Like, when something stressful happens to me, I generally tend not to dwell on it too much. Could be a coping mechanism, I'm not really sure. But I do sit down with myself and say, there's no use worrying about this. Here, let me just do something more happy. So it could be a personality thing. I've never really spent some time in prolonged anger per se. So yeah, but sadness actually, or like even these levels of emotions that you have, that's also in it is also a sense of calm. It's not just calm that's calm. There's also levels of calm. There's like happy calm. There's excited calm. There's again, super sad calm, you know.
Yeah.
So I try to draw out. I think whenever I'm feeling something, say if I was quite upset, I would find the bit that is calming in all of this and try to draw that out as I paint. I think that's generally what I do.
Which I would, from my perspective, it's quite rare
I think
to
is it?
see or even hear about in a sense. But I mean, there are. It depends on what kind of art you do and whether you choose to convey a certain emotion just because you want to, or whether it's just a way for you to cope.
I don't
with
know.
something.
Maybe I kind of always felt that I lack excitement because my subject is calm.
Yeah.
But no, I've often felt that. I'm like, I've often sat with myself and thought, God, people must think I'm so boring. I generally always don't wear colour as well.
Like I should show more excitement.
Yeah.
And I've been told that too. Like I need to practice being more excited.
Excited.
But never mind.
I mean, like externally, I guess I can show excitement, but like in terms of what I do when I'm alone by myself it's pretty like, it's like so calm.
It's amazing. I mean, drawing from, for example, the music that I make ever since I was little, whenever I
love your
was
music.
sad, or we talked about this before on the podcast, I think. Whenever I was sad, or whenever I was feeling anxious or stressed, I would go and play the piano, or I would go and write music, and I would put that into words as well, but it would also always be a way to vent, rather than a way to convey how I would feel after venting. Do you know what I mean?
So excited. Oh,
Listening to a lot of music, a lot of lyrics, it's always about heartbreak, or why did he do this? Why did I do this? Why is this? It's always about the regret and the actual feeling happening there, not the conclusion
That's so
from the issue,
interesting.
how it was resolved.
Because when I was little, I painted, but more than I painted, I used to play the piano, or like I used to play guitar. Or just like
Another new thing.
Another new
Okay.
or just like sing. But whenever I was playing the piano, I feel like it was also again very calming songs. And I think whatever emotion I felt during them sort of dissipates as I play. So it is a form of release, but my preferred method of release has always been something calm.
It's
I
kind
don't
of
really
like a
know
cognitive
why.
therapy thing. Like you're
Yeah.
making the music calm you down
Yeah.
rather than putting your emotions into
No, but
the
I
instrument.
do still remember like putting an intense amount of emotion into it, and I still do with my work as well. But it's whether it be like feelings of hurt or anything, I do put in it, but it's still at the end of the day, maybe because it's like a continuous process, it's not like an immediate process. Maybe my emotions also get absorbed in it
Slow
during
art.
slow art. There you go, figured it out. Slow art.
Yeah.
That might be
I
it.
feel that too with
It'll
my
be a whole
painting right now.
spectra of emotion by the end of it, because there's so much time and energy put down into one piece of art, right?
Yes, and also I think it might just be a personality thing as well, because some people are so good at being like super passionate and raw and
Do that again?
raw. But I'm not. It's like raw. Is it raw? R-A-W-R. Raw.
Yeah.
And I'm not either really good at
Yeah.
that. Maybe that's just it. But
Are you the only one in your family that does art, or is it
so my brother used to be really good at technical art when he was younger. He likes to pretend he can't do anything, but I think he's quite artistic at heart. And my mum and dad are both quite artistic. Mum in a sense that she did everything. Like she did everything pertaining to art when she was younger. And she is like, I don't know what's the English term. She's like the shihan. Shihan.
Dashihan?
Shihan.
Shihan.
Shihan?
なんか先生だけど先生を教えれる先生
Master.
Yeah, so like the master.
Karate.
But I think when you translate it, it comes out as teacher, I think. But she was the shihan for one of the kado, so like flower arrangement, Japanese flower arrangement. Yeah.
Like an instructor of a sort.
Yeah, instructor, but like shihan is like master. I think that's more proper. She was like ちゃんとしてる偉い人. Yeah.
In New Zealand?
No, that was when she was in Japan.
So what's this whole Newsies story about?
The New Zealand story was sort of like, well, my parents both really wanted us to be able to use English from a really young age.
Yeah.
So my mum and my brother and I, we decided to go to New Zealand when I was like quite little. And yeah, we just stayed and we were like, I love this place. I'm never going to leave. So yeah, there's definitely a special bond with the place. I spent most of my time there and it's so laid back. I think when I was younger, it was almost too laid back for me. And I said, I want to get out as soon as possible, as quick as possible. But that's sort of like that with everything, right, in life. You always kind of want something other than what you have. And so I left for university. I left to go to America. And yeah, and then I realized when I came to Japan, that was fully when I realized I really missed it. So I went back after I did a couple of years in corporate and sort of got back in touch with my roots, as you would say. Yeah. It's a beautiful country. I recommend it to everyone.
Yeah.
Oh, I hear good things about New Zealand.
It's so nice.
And the accent is amazing. It's the cutest thing.
But I've heard that my accent's a bit of a mix as well, because I've spent so many time with so much time with Australian people that it almost sounds Australian. So forgive me.
We wouldn't. We couldn't tell.
The E's are still there. The B, which I think is so cute.
Oh, I used to be so embarrassed. So during my entire time at university, I used to pretend I didn't have an accent at all. I think I spent about a good 2 months listening to American TV, and I really practiced American English because whenever I'd like slip up, someone in the class or like a professor would be like, they pointed out, because I went to school in Vermont and it wasn't a huge uni, so it was like, yeah, everyone was like, oh my god, a foreign person, an international person. They'd pick on me, so I pretended I was American.
Did you have like a go-to American slang comment that you would always
No, but
use?
I used to watch Friends. Oh, and awesome. Wait, I can't say it now, but it's like awesome.
It's Choto Valley girl vibes, almost.
Well, I really couldn't tell the difference until I went.
That's amazing, though.
I did it right?
That's amazing.
Like, awesome.
The things we go through, the things we put ourselves through.
But I think when I first went and I went to the cafeteria, it was just like, oh shoot, I can't. I was like, I was even like, there was so much of a culture shock. I was honestly like, did I even speak English properly up until this day? Because the menu, it was all Mexican food, and I don't think where I'm from in New Zealand, we didn't really have. We weren't introduced to Mexican food aside from tacos yet, so it was like quesadillas, jalapenos. I was like, I don't recognize any of this food. And there's black beans in everything in America. There's black beans in everything. And I'm like, really? Like, I don't really like black beans.
Oh, you're not a beanie gal?
Not
Such a bean gal.
really. There's
It'll
black
grow
beans
on
in
you.
everything in America.
Like beans in general?
Yeah, beans in general. Well, we had baked beans growing up, but it was
That's
like
gross.
white.
Baked beans?
No, not really.
That's
The oak
nasty.
ones are pretty good. Bacon flavor, oak tinned.
That sounds great.
No, I can't. British breakfast, English breakfast, disgusting.
But then I do
Sorry,
agree that canned spaghetti is pretty gross.
Ew, yeah.
Yeah, canned spaghetti is like soggy.
Soft,
It's
so nice.
really soggy, and the
I've never
tomato
seen
sauce is
that.
like real weird. It's not that good.
Yo.
No.
What food do you like? Like, what do you miss the most from New Zealand, food-wise?
Fish and shit. I know it's not supposed to be Kiwi. It's not supposed to be Kiwi. It's like supposed to be British, right?
Yeah.
But in New Zealand, when you go to a proper store, they bring it out to you in like newspaper.
Same in England.
Really? Wait, I thought that was special.
That's not
Hang
special.
on, I thought that. No,
Wait,
but it's like
vinegar or mayonnaise
salt.
or salt.
Just
No
salt.
vinegar.
No vinegar.
Ah, there we go.
I guess
Sometimes
vinegar is
tied to
the
it.
English way.
Where, like salt. And well, it's like wait, really? Like newspaper? And it's huge. It's like
Yeah.
$2 and you get like a newspaper full. It's like $2. It's like 200 yen. See?
Yeah.
Was my life a lie?
Yes.
But you're having it with salt.
Yeah, it was so.
It's like the thing in
I'll cling
Japan.
on
I
to
know
that.
the thing that was weird for me, because especially in like Europe,
Mm.
everything is very recipe based. Like food is very prepared. Everything is marinated or stewed or created into something. It's not as much about their natural original flavor as it is the combination of flavors that
it
come
really
together.
isn't,
So
yeah.
when I came to Japan in the beginning, and you would go to like a restaurant, and on the menu there's like cucumber, and you're like, is it a dish? And then it would be like a specific name for cucumber with salt flakes on top, and that would be like a name from Nagano Prefecture. And then the next restaurant you go to is like cucumber, but with a miso on it, and that's from like another part of Japan. And it's like, but where is the dish? Like, do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
It was a
I
big
think that's
confusion.
dope.
And
That's
it's
so pretty,
fantastic.
it's
It's
beautiful.
fantastic.
I think it's so special
so
that you
subtle.
like bring light to like different prefectures and what they're good for, because like the preparation part goes back to how it was grown, right?
Exactly,
Yeah,
exactly. And
it's
that's
so
something that
special.
like it's coming from abroad, you tend to
Mm.
not realize in the beginning. You think like it's a freaking cucumber and there's salt on it or there's miso on it. It's like, where's the ketchup then? You know what I mean? Until you actually start realizing the process, where it's from, why it's made, what type of salt it is, what type of miso it is. It's something that we would never ever think about usually in most places abroad, because we'd be like, it's a cucumber. Whereas here you actually
So
appreciate
simple
Yeah.
and
the
so
simplicity
Beautiful.
and so beautiful, the natural flavor of things.
That's
Like
really
your fish and
nice.
chips with salt versus mayo.
And tarakihi, it's a special kind of fish. I should cling on to
Tarakihi?
that. Yeah. Wait, okay.
Okay.
Yeah,
I
it's
don't
a
know
special
that.
kind of fish. Yeah, I'll cling on to that. Let me
You can
just
have
let me
that.
just have that.
Tarakihi?
わからん。
I think it's tarakihi. If
Tara?
It's a white fish, but it's like a massive fish. Wait, I hope I said it
Cod?
right. It would be embarrassing if I didn't. It's tarakihi or tarahiki. I can't remember. But it's a fish.
It's a fish.
It's a fish.
Okay, and it's
And
like
it's delicious.
indigenous.
No, it's not even like, it's just got a Maori name for it.
Okay.
But it's a white fish, normal white fish. I just wanted something that was Kiwi, you know.
Right. You have a word called bush pigs?
Bush pigs?
Or is
no,
that
no,
something?
what's that? No,
No?
I don't. Bush pigs? You mean like possums? No.
No, like some wine?
Yes, please.
Dear sir?
Thank you,
Um,
sir.
No, I think it's like you'd say hillbillies in the States. They were like bush pigs in New Zealand. Or at least that's what my
Oh, you mean like
my
a
old friend
redneck?
said. Like like a redneck like thing.
Bush pig.
Like they would be called bush pig. Or maybe I'm totally
Oh.
wrong,
No,
but
you
that's
just call them bogans, but I think that's also Australian.
Oh.
I feel like you're
because I
bogan.
kept imagining like a cute pig in a bush, and it seemed so adorable rather than
yeah, no, I thought
swear
it's
word.
like a hamster.
yeah.
Where was this person from? In New Zealand.
Christchurch.
Oh, okay. Maybe that's why. I'm not sure. I grew up in Auckland and I spent time in Queenstown.
This is
I
like
guess
a
that
local
sounds
thing,
Maybe. I've never heard it. I've never heard.
or I'm
bush pig.
totally off. Who
But it's
knows?
kind of cute though. I don't mind using
Kinda
that.
cute bush pigs. I
いただき
consider
ます
myself a bush
ありがとう
pig. Yeah, babes.
Year one, back to art.
Yeah,
okay,
back to
okay,
art.
okay.
Year one of
Year.
kind of
Year one
few
of-
people, I guess. You really
Yeah.
make a living off of art.
Oh yeah.
Like,
Thank
that's
you.
so
yeah.
much respect.
Thank you.
When did you know that you were really living off of art and you could do this?
When did I know? Well,
What was your first
huh.
gig?
Well, I don't know. I've always been. Well, I never did fine. I never really went down the fine art road
Mm-hmm.
until it was like Corona.
Yeah, Corona year.
Yeah, so last year I never really thought I'd be doing fine art. Just solely fine art, and I kind of still don't. I do keep
Yeah.
balancing everything. So I never had a moment where I was like, this is the road, but it was always sort of just kind of like, just keep going at it, because it's sort of, I can't turn back now because I've spent basically half of my life trying to do science, and it's sort of like this being integral to yourself, integrity. I want to say integrity, but it's sort of like just that aspect of it, like I can't do anything else other than this because this is what I love most, and I really, really don't want to screw it up. I think that's the drive. So there's never been a moment where I was like, can I do this? It's always been like, you gotta just do it, because otherwise you have to go back to science. And I do like science. There's parts of it that I like, but it's not what I love. And as far as I'm trying to make what I love into my career, there wasn't really an option to turn away from it. So in that sense, I think that mind switch happened immediately. I was just like, I was noticing something. It's my hands just like. So no, it was always there. It was like, just gonna do it. From the moment I made that switch. If that answers your question.
What do you, in art, what do you make? What kind of jobs do you have?
So I do a wee bit of design, I do a bit of photography, and I obviously paint.
Yes.
But I started all three at once, and they're in like fairly equal amounts when I first started, because I'd never been to art school, and I said, well, am I able to do these things and learn them on the job as I try to start this new career, as opposed to going off to school. And I did all three together because I felt like there was something about each subject that really helped shift perspective and add perspective on the other parts. So for example, like when I was trying photography, I would learn how to compose an image, how to balance it out. And as I edited the image, I would learn what colors work well with each other and what don't. And so all of those things that I learned, I could apply to design. And in design, obviously, you'd have to use a lot of software. So the only way you really learn is doing it as much as possible. So those three kind of just helped each other. It was very, constructive. And they really sort of built off each other. And I think about half a year in, I really noticed a big progress on how far I'd come. And so I was like, yep, this is working. It is my own art education. And then I guess on the side, I don't mind studying, because I really don't mind studying.
Yeah.
So I just went back and sort of took a few self-made courses on like art history, or like just seeking out the parts of art that other people will learn, but just picking out information that I was interested in. So it was like a self-built curriculum in a way. But to this day, I do say, to this day, sounds so old. No, but even, I still have much, much, much learning to do. There's so much to learn. And I do want to keep working at it, and I often feel like I'm not enough. Like, I often feel like because I'm missing an education, I'm missing something very essential, I'm missing the right to even call myself an artist. And then I meet people like my current curator that you met, Kai-san. Like, she always tells me, like, from a person who's actually gone to art school, it's okay, not like it's completely okay to call yourself an artist, even without, well, from in my perspective, the proper credentials. So it's sort of like the confidence is sort of like a incremental confidence. Yeah, when you sell a piece of art, I think that's always a plus as well. It's like,
and you sell paintings, right?
Yeah.
I think right now, like, so much shit is digital, and you make art money often through digital things, but you actually sell canvas paintings, right? And that it feels like, as an artist, that won't sell, like making a canvas, like slow art or like paintings, that's hard to make money off of.
Well, I think at the end of the day, whenever I make a sale, I generally find that it's always with people, genuine people that I connect with. I think that's the most, I mean, for me, it's the most important. It might not be the most important thing for everyone, but for me, I think it really is. It's because it's sort of like, not a conversation, but it's like a connection of a sort. And it's not just selling to any audience, it's selling to the audience who understands you. I think these people in this day might be the only people who are willing to dish out like a certain amount of cash to buy your work. So there's always, whenever I sell something, I'm really grateful, but I'm also super happy because you know that this person really understood you when they said they wanted to buy your work. So I think sometimes for an artist, if I were to say anything about this, it's sort of like, find your message and find who agrees with your message, as opposed to selling art because it's just cool, you know? Of course, I think work would definitely sell if you have something super cool. But who would find it cool? Who's going to put value in how cool that is? I think that was definitely a question that I did ask as I started sort of navigating through the art community, which is not easy.
There's like so many Love Hotel light painters or exhibitors that show art pieces, like painted art pieces or whatever. And I just really want them to know that like you're really doing it, and I think they should really talk to you, because honto, you don't really meet anybody that's like actually selling canvas art toka. And just me talking to you personally, like Teddy toka, we were also like inspired by you, hontoni. So I don't know, you guys, love hoes. I think you should really talk with her, Riko Monma.
I don't know if I
No,
can.
definitely. I really agree with what Colleen is saying, and I think especially from the Tokyo Lovehotels perspective, where it's a playground for artists from all ranges. It doesn't matter whether you're a beginner or if you're or an advanced pro, if that even exists. But a lot of these people don't see or have difficulty seeing a future with their art. They think that just exhibiting at Love Hotels is scary for a lot of people, because they feel like it's not like, can I do this? Is my art good enough? Will people be enjoying this? Is there a future for me? Do I even want to take that step to put it out there? It's a scary thing to do. Definitely.
No, I feel you.
And to see people like you that's been able to take it to a place where you're comfortable with what you're doing and you're also able to live off of it. It's such an inspiration.
Such an inspiration.
But I think that the scare is always there. Like
That's good.
In anything that I do, really, like, I think my entire life I've been more or less scared if I'm not good enough. So I'm not sure if this is the time to bring it up.
Bring it up.
But I went to university when I was 14, and
Hold up.
so
What? That don't add up.
okay.
14?
Yeah.
Genius.
And that was like,
What?
yes.
Sure.
Wait, shit. No, sorry.
Okay.
Oh, you can
shoot.
swear.
No, actually, I lied. I got accepted when I was 14. I just turned 15 when I went.
Okay, still though.
And you went to university.
Yeah, I went to university.
High school? Question mark.
High school?
Did you go to high school?
Oh, yes, I did. I just went to senior high school. So I skipped my years when I was from intermediate school directly into senior high school. So I skipped somewhere like 4 years, 3.5, somewhere like.
Being like a child prodigy, or what is?
I don't really know what they saw in me, really.
So no, that was it. They found your level to be that high to be able to skip.
I took a test, but it wasn't like not very many subjects, and well, there was this certain standard, I guess you needed to meet this to enter this program called the IB. It's like called the International Baccalaureate or something. And actually, no, my brother was super smart. He was so smart. He still is very smart. Hi, bro. He's so smart. So the school accepted him into the school, and I think they thought that the little sister might also be equally smart.
That's so stupid. Okay.
I think that's what it was. So I went to school. They gave me like an exam, but it was only like 2 or 3, I don't remember, various subjects, and I took the test. I got in, and I started my program. And so
with like 20-year-olds in your class?
No, well, I was high school, so I was 12, and they were like, 16 or 15, I think. Yeah.
So you were mixed with the ordinaries. There was not like an X-Men, like Mutant Academy for the especially talented. Like
they were extremely smart. They were all very, very driven people who was determined to get out of New Zealand. Like because the only way you can really get out of New Zealand to go to say like an American school. I don't know how it is now, but before it was you had to do this program called the IB, because it was like an international program that was all across all countries. So they allowed you to apply to schools other than in New Zealand or in England. Britain. Better make that. So I think I just, because I was, like I said, when you're little you don't appreciate what is truly good for you. So I just wanted to get out, and I just wanted to experience something more and exciting and speedy, and that's why I skipped all those years.
wow.
But like I said, no, that wasn't my point. That wasn't actually my point. My point was that no, it's because of this. It's always self-doubt. I think maybe more than other people, because when I enter something new, or like when I do something new, it's like ever since I can remember, it's always like, are you good enough? Are you mature enough? Are you old enough?
So do you think that springs from the fact that you were selected at a very early age to kind of jump these classes and
Well, it was a choice. I made that. It was a conscious choice on my
like
part.
even being a choice on your behalf. Do you think that that's kind of the reason why you're feeling like that today? Because you were you had to suddenly you weren't the standard like everyone else. You had to kind of live up to an expectation of being like a little genius prodigy child.
But there's like a second part to that. I think because I was sort of like a headstrong child, when I thought, was I good enough, I followed that usually up with enough research or enough work to make sure I was good enough. So when the constant question is always, is she old enough? Is she like fit enough to take an American university experience on? And to prove my point, I think I would overcompensate and make sure that my emotional maturity was up to the standard that people expected them to be. And in a sense, so it was sort of like pushing yourself, but I think the biggest learning that I learned from all of this is that if you push yourself enough, you can always get to that state where at least you're confident with it. And I think I've really turned this work ethic onto a lot of other things, going in grad school, like going in like changing careers, or like I've most definitely used that. But there is always doubt. But if there isn't doubt, I think I'd be quite scared of that as well. So I take doubt as sort of like a welcome emotion in a way. And it's always really, really gratifying when you've like made a piece of work, and say like when I'm painting, if it takes me a few hours and I'm always painting, and I think about 2 hours in, I usually start getting doubts. I start getting, is this good enough? Like, I'm not sure if that's supposed to be the way it is. But the more I paint, the more I learn that actually this works. So you sort of change your mind, or what's the word? you adjust your mind to adapt to the form that is there. So you work with what is there. So you continuously keep adapting, and that's why I think painting is such a sort of like a meditative process for me, because it allows me to accept my doubts, sort of work over them every time I paint. It really happens every time, every single time.
That's beautiful. And I think with anything in life, there's always a turning point. And I think the fact that you have the ability to do it through art, in the comfort of your home, being able to experience and to relive these experiences, and to kind of go over and above that hill just by painting, rather than doing it in like a life experience out among people, is also probably a very good way of dealing with it and growing. I know you've been doing, of course, we all do both, but the fact that you also have your art as one of those ways to do it. Do you know what I mean?
It was rewarding, I think. I've tried other methods, you know, like especially as like someone young, especially in uni, you really throw yourself out there just to prove a point, and you just do things that you would otherwise question, but it's to prove a point. And so I did many like questionable things, but at the end of the day I didn't gain so much from it. And whereas in painting, at least I gain, it's like sort of like that still gradual growth that you yourself alone are responsible of, and I think that's what I like about it.
Exactly. And you're in full control of that destiny of the painting you're painting at that moment. I think like with every new project that people get into, there's always a certain amount of scariness that comes to it, whether it's a new position at an office, or if you're doing a modeling gig or performing or doing something. But after a while there comes that turning point where you get used to it. You realize that it wasn't as scary as you thought it would be. And I think to be able to have that ability to do it through your art as well gives you a whole other sense of control too, because you're able to grow on your own without having to affect the whole environment around you, which I think is a beautiful thing.
Yeah, no, I really value that. I think interaction with people also make you drastically grow. But at the same time, I think an equal amount of time needs to be spent by yourself in order for you to truly sort of appreciate yourself and what you can do. And sometimes in my moments where I was super busy, I really didn't focus so much on myself. I lost track of I was so focused on striving hard that I really lost track of who I wanted to be. And then I'd go out on these like wild trips where I go seek out who I am, but like traveling, I did a lot of solo trips or like, you know, doing stuff.
Tea ceremonies.
But like
Cucumber with salt, cucumber with miso.
Yeah, cucumber.
Yeah. Oh, cucumber.
Shit.
Dug it. Yeah.
But yeah, no, I really appreciate this time. But I think that's part of the reason for why I feel like I'm so boring now, is that I'm like, I feel like I kind of miss how I was explorative. Is that the word? Exploratory. I miss kind of like that dive into it, jump into it mindset sometimes, because now I have painting and it has stabilized me so much to a point that I'm so stable, nothing can shake me.
Beautiful.
Aside from boys.
Aside from cucumbers.
You want to talk about it?
No. we good.
Okay.
That's funny though. So with paintings, you feel like that's. Sorry.
No, there's a light behind you that you kind of.
What, did it move?
Yeah.
Oh my god, so scary. I don't think they hear us very well.
Think so
yeah. Where was that? Yeah, with your art and with, like you're saying, that it stabilized you so much that you've mastered the therapeutic effect of what art has on people. That do you wish you could turn back time, or do you wish that you would become more of like a? Do you want to use this experience to do something even more reckless out in the world?
Just try. I think now is probably. I think every time in my life where I have felt calm and comfortable. I've kind of thrown in something in there that makes it not normal. So I think now, I mean, obviously after Corona and everything has passed, but I think I'll try to chuck in something, a wee bit of a challenge perhaps. Yeah, we'll see.
A Love Ho pop-up kitchen, perhaps?
A kitchen.
Fish and chips with tarahiki. Takahiki. Oh.
But yeah, I don't know. I think before I was an artist. Wait, can we eat this?
Yeah.
Yes, she brought some very lovely wasabi snacks. Wasabi cashew nuts?
Yeah, wasabi.
Wasabi.
Wasabi cashew nuts. Quite
Oh, wait, I
spicy.
have a gum.
Take it to the questions we received.
Oh, sure.
Yeah, we actually can. So we did a little, for those that don't know, we did a little story the other day.
Yeah.
Yum. Saying that we will have you on a podcast,
Oh,
and if there's
really?
anything people would like to ask, please ask questions.
We got a few questions.
Okay.
Got one from r.r.
Wait, what? Your daughter?
Username r.r. What's your favorite color and why?
Huh?
You.
Alright.
Good question, I think.
What's my favorite color?
Oh shit.
Oh, I like green.
Yeah. Why?
I love green. Because I don't know. I just really like the color green, but not desaturated. A little desaturated. It's very refreshing.
Okay.
I can only say cliche things, guys. Like clean. Looks like it smells nice. I think it's just really relaxing. A good wavelength.
Mother Earth.
Mother Earth, yeah.
Well.
Green's nice.
Lovely.
Wait, hold up. Let me
Lovely.
see if I can come up
Okay.
with anything interesting.
Mm.
Green. Sorry, I actually don't know.
How would you make green?
How do I make green? You mix blue and yellow.
Well, with your little ingredients.
Oh, actually, you can't really make green unless it's super deep moss green, because
Which is
green
nice.
is you literally, like, if you're working with plant pigments, you literally have to mix blue pigments and yellow pigments, because the green pigments that you see die so fast under heat.
They turn brown, is
Yeah,
that
they
like
turn
like a
brown.
leaf?
Yeah, they turn brown.
Really?
So green is a very difficult color to create organically.
What about like a
Are you-
terrible piece of sick snot?
Yeah, I knew you were kind of going.
Would that turn brown too? Like
I'm not quite sure. I believe it might turn brown or white or clear.
it might be a beautiful green tint. Who knows?
No, I don't think
No,
so.
okay. Sorry. Let's continue.
Another question, Riko. You got a question
Wait,
from-
wasabi is green.
from
Yeah.
Lena Leolik,
Oh, hi, Lena.
our favorite. She says, "Tell us about your favorite love stories."
Oh goodness. Oh goodness, Lena. My favorite love stories. Can you guys give me some guides? I don't really know what a love story
What kind
is.
of question is this?
I like the piano song.
Wait, what? Like Cinderella
What's the
context?
yeah? What's the context?
Who knows?
Like
with this
personal
girl?
love stories or movies or?
Oh, like movies.
I have no idea.
Could be.
I think
Could be
she's referring to
anything.
personal ones, no?
Like your own love story?
Oh, but then I'm like a little bit awkward in discussing that here because, like, odds are he's probably gonna hear it and it's gonna be like,
Oh yeah?
But no one else will know who it is.
no, let's not. Let's not.
Okay,
Okay,
let's
yeah.
not go there.
Yep. Alex Rodriguez 20 says, "How did you start making art?" We kind of talked about it, but
How did I? Yeah, well, picked up a brush.
yeah, for real
Picked
though.
up a brush.
For real.
But you know, we talked about it briefly before. Yeah, I just had a thought, an emotion, an idea, and I just wanted to put it down on paper. And I really like colours. I love colors.
So for a person that would like to start art but doesn't really know where to begin,
Yeah.
it's basically just do it. That's what you're saying. Grab a brush, grab a pigment, not a green one because that'll be difficult.
Well, well, because I do abstract art, I think I have an easier time saying that. Because obviously technique matters, but finding your technique is sort of up to you if you do abstract art. How you determine the balance of what you think is good is up to you. Whereas if you want to do oil painting or realistic painting or different kinds of painting that requires traditional techniques, your best bet is to either go look at a painting or like start learning from someone who knows.
Right.
So it really depends. But as far as how I started it is I did do some learnings, but it was all individual learning, like independent learning, and otherwise just honestly I literally just picked up a brush or like fingers or like whatever. I've even painted with nail polish before.
Really?
Yeah, because
I did that too.
yeah, isn't it quite exciting because there's so many colors and there's glitter in them sometimes.
Yeah.
It's quite stinky though when you're drying
Yeah.
the ear out.
Last question.
Okay.
Another one from Lena Jolik.
Oh no, I'm scared of.
I know, right? Wait, what? Okay. What is your inspiration when drawing?
Oh,
It's
okay.
not bad, right?
That's a nice question.
Right.
I want to know too.
What's my inspiration? It's all kinds of things. Mostly because my subject is emotions. It's generally emotion. But it can be... Usually I try to go for emotion that is so overpowering. It overtakes you. Like, for example, if I go on a trip somewhere, really nice, and when you look at the landscape, it really just sort of, sucks you in and you're just lost in all of it. And this I am able to put on paper. Or if someone makes me really, really happy, that I can also put on paper. So like a overwhelming sense of emotion.
Do you ever get depressed?
Yes.
Really?
Yes, I do. But very privately depressed.
You should. That's the best way to be depressed. I don't know.
Well, also it's like a girl's thing as well. Like sometimes, or a guy's thing. I'm not sure. I can't speak for a guy, but I know that there are times in my cycle when I feel depressed.
Yeah. Oh my god.
And like even like the little things can just like upset you,
I can't picture it because she was just talking about how she knows how to control
No,
feelings.
but like even I think there is a calm in a state of depression. Really, there is. There is such good art that I can make when I'm super depressed.
Exactly.
Because you are reaching out for the colors that you never thought you would reach out for, and because you're depressed, you kind of let go of a lot of conceptions, and you're just like, this looks good.
Or just
it's
pick
raw
up an
emotion.
iPad or an iPhone.
I do iPads a lot.
Mobile Legends.
Yes, okay, can we go there?
Super Mecha Champion.
Super Mega Champion. No, actually that is exactly what I do when I'm depressed. I play mindless games. Or I pick up my guitar and when I'm...
Strum a tune.
No, but when I'm depressed, when I'm the most depressed, I sound the best. Or I think that's what I think. Maybe to make myself feel better. But I really like, I don't know, some sort of outlet.
Yeah.
I sometimes cook, I sometimes bake, really beat the shit out of that dough.
That dough.
Or just stay in bed, I don't know. I do get depressed. Why did we get on the topic of...
That was an additional question.
Yeah, from K.L.
Did you want to talk about something?
Yeah. So there's been a little thing. There's been a little... I just wanted to clear the air.
Yes, clear the air.
Depression. Yeah, 喧嘩してないんだけど there's been Love Hotels has been going on for 2 years, a little bit longer than 2 years soon.
Yeah.
And it was truly built on the foundation of me and little refill.
Oh no, I'm very good, thank you. Yep.
Okay. It was truly built on the foundation of me and Colleen that really wanted, like, I do music and she paints, and we found that there wasn't a lot of places that really offered a free space for people to perform and to kind of share their art with people with any with no hooks, with no
I know exactly what you mean.
no catch, with no catch, like, you know. And that's literally the reason why we started Love Hotels. And I think there's been people that's been wondering and questioning why we do what we do and what it's really for. And I think there are many different models, like business models or ways people work to get something, to get their art out there, right? And there's been questions as to, do we pay artists? Do we not pay artists? What is the best way to do this? And me and Colleen, doing it for 2 years, it's been a long discussion for us. Literally every time we sit down for a meeting, and we do this a lot, 3 to 4 times a week, we sit and work with Love Hotels to plan the upcoming event. And we always try to think of the best way to make sure that the artists feel content with what they do at the events, as well as balanced with everyone else. A very important thing for us is the fact that everyone are equal. It doesn't really matter if you're experienced or if you have no experience and it's your first exhibit out there. And so for that matter, to start off, is that we don't pay artists, and probably maybe in the future, who knows, but in the model that we have right now is we want people to be able to work for what they have. If you have a brand, sell your art, do that. Whatever profit you make from that, you get 100% back. We take no fee for the pop-up space or the exhibition space, and we do the same for artists. And I know that for artists, it gets a little bit more complicated because it's difficult to sell CDs these days. You could still make merch, you could still do these things, and for DJs it gets even more difficult. So we're always trying to come up with ways to make sure that everyone gets an equal amount of promotion, an equal amount of a chance to kind of connect and share their art with the world without making it with a price tag. Because we've noticed something, that depending on the artist, people always like to put a price tag on it themselves and feel like, I'm worth more, I'm worth less.
Right.
And so paying artists would also mess up that balance between them. Do you understand what I mean? And I think something like, we do Love Hotels, but we also do 2 other initiatives, 2 other types of events where we always pay artists depending on what they're asking for and what we have the budget for. And Love Hotels is purely just not that type of venue. It's a venue for people to express in any way they want. If you want to have an exhibit in the ceiling, go for it. If you want to sing and you've never had a song up before on Spotify, go for it. You're fully free to do whatever you want to do. And so what we're trying to come up with is a way to make sure that everyone is happy, but not everyone aren't always happy with the way that things go, right? And so we're always trying to come up with new ways to figure these things out. And I think, shall we take it there, the future plans?
Oh yeah.
Yeah, so we've been thinking a little bit with exhibits, for example. They can sell their art, right? With pop-ups, they can sell their clothes. With DJs and artists, it gets a little bit more difficult. If they don't have merchandise, if they don't have CDs, if they don't have mixtapes out to sell. I mean, who goes and buys a mixtape? It doesn't really happen.
Cassettes might sell nowadays.
You could make it a thing. But we've been trying to come up with ways to make sure that the artists and the DJs also feel like
they're included, and
they're included,
Yeah.
and not only when it comes to promotion and making connections, but also that they feel like there's some kind of
compensation.
Exactly, in a sense.
Yeah.
And so we've been thinking about these ways of making something like having them record their own mixtape or shooting videos for each and every artist that performs at Love House, and have them kind of after the event be able to come home with something that's a product that they have full control over.
That they can use to keep promoting themselves in the future.
Right.
Exactly. And we think that might actually be the way for this to work from the Love Hole perspective, because we really don't want to put a price tag on people, because it really messes up the balance.
Well, yeah, because then there's going to be a difference between, like, very new people and not so new people, right? And the whole objective for why you guys started it is that so that everyone could have an equal footing when they start what they want to do. And, well, I don't know, as far as my opinions go, I don't think even as a first off, it's not really even an obligation for an event to promise you compensation. It's up to the artist to decide.
And it's up to them if they want to
participate or not. Exactly. You're not, as an event, you're not forcing someone to join the event. So whatever extra you do to make the event attractive for other artists and not just the audience is out of you two, you both. It's out from your own principles for what you want the event to be. So I just wanted to put it out there.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
That was like a very stern line of words. But I really do think that it is difficult enough already for artists and people who want to make a living off art. And there's always factors that tell you, stop doing this, don't do it. And you guys are part of the other group who actually supports people. And I don't know, from my perspective, there isn't anything, there isn't any reason for anybody really to be saying, well, this event should do this event should do that.
Yeah.
How you want to direct it is what brings people in.
Yeah.
So it's, but it's really, really nice that you guys are actually considering of offering a different level of compensation in form of like video or like in form of something they can take home. I think that's a brilliant idea.
Thank you. Yeah. I think I don't think people realize how much time and effort we put down into
it's
making Lovehotels come together.
Right?
And I think that it's always easy to point a finger, and it's always, especially when you're, I'm not going to say in the spotlight, but in the spotlight, like because we kind of tend to go out there and say specifically, we do organize this event. It's me and Kalin, like we do this. So there's a lot of, it's easy to point a finger if something goes wrong, or if something doesn't go your way. But I think it really, everything comes from love. And what we're doing, we wouldn't be able to do what we're doing if the artist didn't exist, and vice versa. And I think just as much as an artist feel like they should get paid the full amount for the painting they sell or the music they sell, understood.
Right, which is brilliant, which never happens in actual life, because there's usually some sort of commission you would have to pay to a gallery, or some sort of fee you have to take part in an event. And it's really rare. As far as exhibiting artists go, for performing artists, monetization is a completely different logic. But as far as exhibiting artists go, it's brilliant. And if you are thinking of doing something extra for performing artists, I think that's something like great.
Thank you. Yeah, because we truly understand the differences between the genres, and me myself, I am a musician. Like, that's what I do. I understand the struggles, and I understand the different types of systems that exist across different types of venues. Like for one, Lovehotels, it's not a live music festival where we book artists from LA to come and perform for like blah, you know. It's a playground for people to come and do whatever they want to. We have like no restrictions apart from just show up on time. And if you want to sell, if you want to hustle, do whatever you want to do. Like it's not our biz, but we're here to make that happen. And as long as I stand here, as long as we stand here, as long as we do what we do, we're going to make sure that everyone becomes as happy as possible and feels like it's been worthwhile. But it's not going to happen with a price tag, not for Tokyo Lovehotels. For other events, sure, because we do that, but not for Lovehotels, because we don't want to disrupt that balance. And it's really all love. So if we can provide them with a video to come home and be like, look what I made.
Yeah, that's
fantastic.
Great. That's really great.
If you don't like it, okay, maybe.
So it's an event out of love. It's an event out of love, and it feels. Yeah, you should do it. You should join the event, because the event is about love, right? And about your love for your art, and not really about. Sure, it might help you get new opportunities, like it did for me actually. Like I got my gallery because my curator found me through your website, so
which is so dope.
That is amazing.
It got me somewhere. So you do it for your career purposes and for having a place to perform or exhibit, but you also do it out of love, I think, is what you guys are trying to make the event into, and I think that's very important. Rather than focus on on some other things.
Yeah, not focus on the product,
Yeah.
not focus on judging people based on where they're from and what they do and what they're looking
Right.
for. And I think especially with Love Hose, like I think we would love to see this continue growing and become a bigger thing. And if we can make this our full-time job and make it a sustainable thing, that's fantastic. That's fantastic. If Love Hose didn't exist for me, I'd probably be in some office somewhere working like a 9 to 5 and not be very pleased with what I do, at least get a paycheck. But to be able to do this, it's brought so much happiness to me as much as to hopefully most of the artists doing it. So couldn't be more grateful.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Indeed.
It's a great relationship.
It's a
Yeah.
real
No, I'm
It's, you know.
definitely thankful. I'm definitely super thankful. Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you, babe. Do you want to bring out your flyer? Do you have your flyer for the exhibit?
Where is it? Where did it
The
go?
flyaway.
Where did it go? Oh, there you go. Ta-da!
Yeah, we really got to promote. Like,
Yeah.
we were flabbergasted entering this whole thing. It's called
Slowscapes.
Slowscapes.
Wait, I said that really sillily. I need to say that.
Here? Further away.
Wait, hold up.
At the far end of the universe.
It's next to the plants.
There.
Yes, I'm currently doing a exhibit called Slowscapes, and it's literally about all that I've just talked on here. Really, it's the concept is still the same: finding calm in this forever busy city and time. Yes, and I've done a series of paintings, 7 in total, that expresses my emotions in states of different kind of calm. Yeah, and that was awkward. On a Japanese traditional frames called kakejiku, and it's like made of fabric, silk. Yes, and so that's on right now until May the 5th, it says, but it might get a little longer. We don't know yet.
You can extend?
Yeah, we don't know. Very flexible times. But it's until May at the Not Tokyo Shinjuku in the 2nd floor lounge. So if you could pop by, shoot me a text.
It is.
I'll come see you.
I mean, it's. gotta just point out that it's a beautiful thing.
Thank
Go
It's.
see it. Support your local artists. You ain't
Thank
doing
you.
shit at home. Go support. It's important
all
and it means a
angles.
lot.
Yeah.
It
Thank
means
you.
a
Yeah,
lot.
it'll mean a lot to me. Where should I
It
look
means
at?
a lot.
It'll mean a lot to me if you come.
It's a really beautiful
Yeah,
thing.
tell it.
Like entering, you can really tell how much time
Yeah.
and energy has been spent on making this come together, and how well curated it is.
Oh yes, I had an amazing curator. Let me just slide her in there.
Yeah.
Her name is Karela Mara, and she is the artistic director for the galleries at the Not Tokyo Shinjuku. And she is an amazing woman. Just summed up everything. Okay, it's time to go now. Bye.
We just want to say thank you so much for joining us today. It's been truly inspirational and very motivational, and I feel like what you've brought to the Love Hole family is something that's really valuable, not only for us but for the artists that perform with us.
Thank you so much for saying that. I really don't think I do much, but
Yeah,
thank
you. Do.
you.
really
Yeah,
do.
you do, and you know it. Or if you don't, you should. Yeah. Do you have any last things you'd like to say?
Yes. Did we discuss this before? No.
Briefly, we're gonna bring it up again.
Okay,
yeah,
I'm just
We
gonna
did.
do like
Okay.
a wee PR moment. So right now I've got my solo exhibition going on, my first solo exhibition in Tokyo. It's called Slowscapes, and it is at the
Lower.
Not Tokyo Shinjuku. It's a hotel, but I've got my exhibit going on the 2nd floor lounge. If you have any spare time and you want to come chill and have a nice cup of coffee or chai,
please hit me up and I will be there to say hi to you.
Go support.
Yeah, go
Really
support.
Yeah.
It's really beautiful. So Slowscapes at the Knot, Tokyo Shinjuku.
Tokyo Shinjuku.
Check it out.
Yes, please.
So thank you very much,
Thank
babes, for
you.
today.
Thank you so much.
We'll see you soon.
See you very soon.
And much love.
Much
Much,
love.
much
Thank
love.
you so much.
Thank
Love
you.
you.
Bye.
Bye.